Welcome back, everybody, to another lesson. Today we are going to do rounding and estimating with decimals. Um, Everybody probably remembers a lesson where we did rounding and estimating with whole numbers. Now we're going to do them with decimals. So let's say I ask you round to nearest 1. We're going to round decimals to the nearest whole number to start. And I give you something like 3.8. So we want to look at which decimal place we're being asked to round first, which is 3, the whole number 3, rounding to the nearest 1. Then look at the place immediately to the right, which would be the tenths place. So we see an 8 in our tenths place. So remember, if it's 5 or greater in the place that comes after the number we're trying to estimate, we round up to the nearest number. If it's 4 or lower, we'd round down to the nearest number. So your answer for this, to round it to the nearest 1 or the nearest whole number, would be 4. And 3.8 rounds to 4. Okay, let's say I give you something like 4.35. So again, we want to round it to the nearest 1. So start in your ones place. You have a 4 in the ones place. Then look immediately to the next place. You have a 3 in the tenths place. We don't care what's in the hundredths place or beyond. Only look at the 4 and the 3. Don't worry about that 5. So we would have 4.3. And since what's in the tenths place is 4 or lower, we round down to the nearest whole number. So your answer for that would also be 4. Alright. What about if I gave you something like 9.875? We want to round that to the nearest 1, the nearest whole number. So again, start with what's in your ones place, which is a 9. Then you have an 8 in your tenths place. We don't even care what's in the hundredth or the thousandths place, but we do see an 8 in the tenths place. And since what's there is 5 or greater, we're going to round up to the nearest whole number, so that would be 10. So 9.875 would round to 10. Alright, we're going to change this up just a little bit here. Instead of rounding to the nearest 1, we're now going to round to the nearest tenth. We will round to the nearest tenth place. So let's start with 3.83. Okay. You have 3.83. You want to round it to the nearest tenth place. So start in the tenths place since that's the number you want to round. Then look at the hundredths place, which is the next digit over from it. You have a 3 in the hundredths place, which means since it's 4 or less, you want to round down to the nearest tenth. So your answer to that would be 3.8. That would be to the nearest tenth, is 3.8. Okay. Let's say I have 4.321. Again, we want to round to the nearest tenth. So look in your tenths place, you have a 3. Look immediately to the place to the right of that. In the hundredths place, you have a 2. We don't even care what's in the thousandths place or beyond. You're only going to deal with your tenths and your hundredths place. You have a 2 in your hundredths place, so since it's 4 or less, you'd round down to the nearest tenth. So your answer would be 4.3. That would be to the nearest tenth. Alright, we got one more for the tenths place here. Let's say I give you 10.369. You got 10.369 as your decimal. So you're going to round to the nearest tenth. You start with a 3 in your tenths place. Then you look immediately to the right in the hundredths place. You have a 6. We don't care about that 9 or what comes beyond that. We don't care about what's in the thousandths place or beyond. We only care about the tenths place itself and the hundredths place. Well, you have a 5 or greater in the hundredths place, so you're going to round up to the nearest tenth, which would give you 10.4. And that would be your answer, is 10.4 is what it would round to. Okay. We rounded to the nearest tenth. How about to the nearest hundredth? We will round now to the nearest hundredth. Alright, so let's say I have 3.875. We want to round this number to the nearest hundredth. So you would start in your hundredths place and look immediately to the digit to the right in your thousandths place and go from there. So we have a 7 in the hundredths place, we have a 5 in the thousandths place. Since what's in the thousandths place is 5 or greater, you're going to round up to the next hundredth, round up to the next hundredth. So that would be 3.88 would be your estimation for that. Alright. Let's say I have 5.6278. Well, we want to round this to the nearest hundredth. So locate your hundredths place. You have a 2 in the hundredths place. You have a 7 in the thousandths place. You want to look immediately to the right of what place you're looking at. So we look at the thousandths place also. We don't care what's in the 10,000ths place or afterwards. Just focus on your hundredths place and your thousandths place. Well, you have 5 or greater in your thousandths place, so this would round up to the next hundredth, which would be 5.63. That would be to the nearest hundredth, 5.63. Alright. Let's say I give you 11.78536. So, again, you want to round this to the nearest hundredth. So locate what's in your hundredths place. That's an 8. You have a 5 in your thousandths place because we focus on the place to the next, to the right of the hundredths. We don't care what's in the 10,000ths or 100,000ths place. Only focus on the 8 and 5. Since what's in the thousandths place is 5 or greater, we're going to round up to the next hundredth. So your answer for this would be 11.79. That would be to the nearest hundredth, 11.79. Alright, we've done hundredths, now let's round to the nearest thousandth. And that'll be as high as we go, is to the nearest thousandth. We're not going to go any further than that, because then there just starts to get to be too many decimals. And oftentimes in math, that's the most you'll be asked to round to, on average, is the thousandth. Oftentimes you'll be told to round to the nearest hundredth or tenth. That's why I'm only going to the round to the nearest thousandth. So let's say I give you 3.6821. Now we want to round to the nearest thousandth. So locate the number that's in your thousandth place. That's going to be a 2. And you have a 1 in the 10,000ths place. So you're going to focus on what's in your thousandths place, and then you'll focus immediately to the right of that, which would be the 10,000ths place. Since what's in your 10,000ths place is 4 or less, you're going to round down to the nearest thousand, which would just be 3.682. That would be your answer, is 3.682 to the nearest thousandth. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. Round. There, we'll fix that. Alright. How about if I gave you 7.8392? Again, we want to round to the nearest thousandth. So locate what's in your thousandths place, that's a 9. And locate what's in immediately to the right after that in the 10,000ths place, which will be a 2. So since what's in your 10,000ths place is 4 or less, you're going to round down to the nearest thousandth, which would be 7.839. That would be your answer to the nearest thousandth, 7.839. And I got one more example here. Let's say this is a big one, 13.765432. Okay, well, we have a thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths, we even have a millionths place. But we only want to round this to the nearest thousandth. So locate what number is in your thousandths place. That would be a 5. Locate the number immediately to the right of that in the 10,000ths place. That would be a 4. We don't care what's in the 100,000ths or the millionths place. That doesn't matter. We only focus on what's in the thousandths and in the 10,000ths. Well, since what's in the 10,000ths place rather is 4 or smaller, we'd round down to the nearest thousandth, which would give you 13.765. And that would be your answer for what this is to the nearest thousandth. So, again, when you round, locate the digit, the place of the number you're trying to round itself and the number immediately to the right of that. And that'll tell you what you need to round either up or down to. If it's 5 or greater in the next place, you round up. If it's 4 or lower in the next place, you round down. And that's really all there is to rounding and estimating these. So next lesson we will do addition of decimals. I hope everybody has a good day and take care.